So wait a second, could we actually be getting an Apothecary Class, a healer, added to Space Marine 2? We've got some interesting words from the dev team about this one, but they also offer a bit of a warning about it as well, and they respond about more potential customization options coming in the near future. And the devs also have some words about concerns regarding crossplay and seasons, plus some early access players are angry that they spent $100 only to have this happen, and a hardcore feature that it seems like a lot of you guys actually want. We'll talk about it. And yes, as always, I'm going over your top comments, but it's so refreshing to see this right here. One of our Space Marines from Focus Entertainment. Also, thank you, Saber Interactive. Well-deserved tears. And we have this post here from one of the devs on Space Marine 2 saying reviews are out, and pardon me if I tear up a little because we worked so hard and it just feels incredible to see the game being so well received. Can't wait for everyone to jump in tomorrow, and tomorrow has quickly become today. So yes, today is the day for a lot of you to go hands-on with the game for the first time ever. I'm so curious to see what you guys have to say about the game. Come back to me on this video, by the way, and let me know how you're enjoying it. But yeah, let's get into this post right here as well. It says the devs moved 2 ideas to must-have Apothecary confirmed. 2 other ideas moved to implemented. And if you don't know what he's talking about, he's of course talking about the official Focus Entertainment website, where they have this right here, change the game section. We have 1,057 ideas, 0 are greenlit currently, but yes, we have 2 new must-have ideas. Also, we have 2 new implemented ideas over here. So let's dive into this a little bit more in depth, shall we? And here's the ideas the devs marked as must-have: new class Apothecary, of course, and include missing heraldry. Let's go into first and foremost what was said about the potential new class Apothecary right here. And let's get into it. It says, the classes we have today are awesome, but an area that doesn't seem to be covered is healing. An Apothecary unit fills this gap and offers a unique look, Narthesium weapon and playstyle. This would be a great unit in PvE, where there are no places to get your health back, whereas in PvP, it would allow the devs to tinker more with time to kill. There are ways, of course, to get your health back. You can use like stim packs in PvE, but I see what he's kind of saying here to make it more team-oriented. Now, what did the dev team say? They marked it first of all as must-have. Here it is. It says, hi there, thank you for suggesting this idea. Implementing new classes in the game is an idea we've had already. Just know that this kind of additional content takes time. Thank you. So yeah, that's a bit of a warning there that this sort of thing is not going to be happening immediately. Remember, they do have a firm roadmap for us as well, but what is not mentioned on that roadmap, that year 1 plan, is new classes. So I'm curious to see if they're going to adjust, seeing how many of you guys really want new classes, or if they're just going to stick to, you know, making sure that they bring in those new modes. Horde mode specifically being one thing that you guys really want, the new PvE locations and that sort of thing. So that might be on top of their priority list, but I think you guys would be super excited to get new classes. The way the classes play in this game, they are so different from one another, and that's one thing that I have fallen in love with this game, is just being able to hop in and know that, you know, that I have to kind of like adjust my strategy going into a match. Now, also we have this one right here, include missing heraldry. So it says this: there are some first founding chapters that have been made more or less simplified in what I've seen in the game thus far. I can understand the reasoning behind this, but I also feel like incorporating armor decals shouldn't be too much of a hassle. The biggest one I've noticed are Space Wolves, since the multiplayer trailer shows the Vanguard with the close support symbols utilized by most chapters instead of the Space Wolves personal iteration of the symbol. Here is the example, of course, from the trailer, and this is what the desired effect should be according to Ghoulish here. Now it says red and yellow markings are used to indicate close support packs and are borne by Blood Claws, Swift Claws, Sky Claws, and Inceptors. Very cool. And I know if I noticed it, others have as well. It doesn't end there though. Space Wolf Grand Companies, Iron Hands Clans, and White Scars Brotherhoods all have their own symbols that are unique to the chapter, even if the Charactrodons have their own aquatic-themed symbols. Another great example right here. Shoulders, knee pads, and greaves that no one else has. I do not desire shiny metal, tassels, or feathery plumes on my Marines. I just want to see their identity and culture represented faithfully in game. And it's marked as, guess what? Must have. Here's the response from the dev team. We are planning to have more heraldry customization options in the future. So this is definitely something they are going to be pursuing. Will it be these specific designs and decals? That right there is not confirmed, but I imagine that it would be on the top of their list since they did mark it as must have. Now, what about those implemented game ideas? So let's head on over to that section right here. And here we go. Scroll down here, we can get into it. We have season should be able to be buyable, doable whenever, not just during that season. And the other one, opt in and out of crossplay PvP. Be careful about getting too excited about that one. I'll get into that in just a moment. But here we go. It says this right here. Season should be able to be buyable, doable whenever, not just during that season. It says, as the title says, make seasons buyable and doable whenever, not just during that current season. Nothing would hurt a lot of players more than finding out their favorite chapter has had their season and they missed it. And now they are just out of luck. Please make seasons be always obtainable. Have a system where a player can choose which one they are currently earned experience for. Please, guys, this would make players extremely happy knowing they're going to have to worry about if they are going to be able to complete a season or not. Please make them be able to be obtainable whenever. Thanks for reading. Love this new platform where we can talk to the devs directly. I also love that. And it's already implemented. They say this, hello. Thank you for the idea. The season pass will stay available post-release, so you will be able to obtain your favorite chapters even after the following season has released. So yes, if you were worried about that and you missed out on the news previously, you don't have to worry about that. You can have a sigh of relief. There's no FOMO type content from what I'm seeing in the future for this game. So that's really good news. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering about this opt-in, opt-out crossplay PvP because there was some discussion about this previously. So it says, please allow people to do opt-in and out crossplay for the multiplayer instead of locking it into the platform. Many of us, myself included, on console wish to play with our friends and pretty much everyone else in the competitive modes. Allowing us to turn on or off crossplay for multiplayer is a satisfying after choice for everyone involved, as everyone has the choice to play the way they desire. I would even suggest you can make it so that the pools are locked to the platform unless you are in a group with your mixed platform friends, which places you in the PC pool. Overwatch does this, and while it is not the hot game it used to be, that crossplay system seems to be a good blend of developer vision for and players' wants for multiplayer. The choice to play as we want should always supersede other decisions within reason. I really care about the success of the game, and I wish to see the community to be satisfied, and it's implemented. So the response is this: hello, the option to toggle the crossplay on and off is already implemented. Please find the official details below. But there is a caveat to this. It says, will the game support crossplay? It can be triggered off. Yes, that is confirmed that it can be toggled on and off between the pools, of course. So you got to remember there's going to be one pool for Steam and Epic Game Store and console players, and another PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS. But I still think a lot of you guys want to be able to play with your PC buddies if you're on console. That's the sort of toggle option I think a lot of you guys were hoping for, and I really do wish that they would figure out a way to at least implement that in the game down the road. Now, you know, there were a lot of you guys that decided to lay down the money and risk it all, and you did pre-order the game and you spent that $100 or whatever it is to get into early access. But some people have some ruffled feathers over what has happened recently with it. Check it out right here. It says, pay $100 to play a game you've already seen everybody else play. And we have this as well, streamers. So I pay more money to play the game earlier, and streamers get to play today. And to make things clear, I don't care that they play early. It's kind of good to see the game. I don't think the fact that they sell a €90 version to play early, thanks, but that's a refund for me. Some replies here. First world problems. Not only that, they get it for free and even earlier than you who paid for it. Scumbag saver, going full scumbag. So yeah, I don't know why this is a surprise. This is a common practice, but we're going to get into how it does create problems. So stick with me here. You know, we have another post here that says thumbs down to it, but this is the ultimate problem, is spoilers have been released on YouTube. The interesting thing about how Saber Interactive handled the, you know, I guess you would say pre-release coverage of this game through YouTubers, streamers, and that sort of thing. Is they said, hey, you can go crazy with it, do whatever you want with the game. And a lot of companies, they say, you know what, don't spoil the ending, you know, don't show this part of the game. And I think that it would have been better if they would have said, you know, hey, you know what, stick to the cooperative mode if you can. Try not to showcase this, that, and the ending for sure, and don't do like an absolute entire walkthrough of the single player story. That's what I think should have happened, at least, and I think that would have been a better way to go about it for sure. But hey, you know, they've been completely transparent. You guys know how long the game is in terms of hours when it comes to the single player campaign. They've been very open. So in that way, there is a positive by the way they have handled this situation. But I do get where some people are kind of like bummed about the spoilers when it comes to this sort of coverage for sure. And again, you know, I've done my absolute best to keep my videos completely spoiler free. And yeah, I plan to keep it that way in the future. I'm only like playing operations mode in my videos. But we also have this one right here. Devs, please add an option for friendly fire. I really want to get Space Marine 2, let's be honest. I'll get it anyway, but please add friendly fire at least option 4. It adds a whole new layer to the game. You have to be careful with potential AoE weapons. Players will have to stick to their roles and be more tactical about what they use and when. It completely changed the game for Alien's fire team, where on standard it had no friendly fire and felt like a completely different game, versus higher difficulties where you could literally one-shot your ally with the wrong weapon. It really changed a lot about how you play the game. Even if not for the challenge, friendly fire is fun. Make it optional if you want, but give the option. And some interesting replies says, I actually do kind of second this. Though for PvP, make it a separate game mode, and for co-op campaign and operations, make it a toggleable setting. Now, when you get into these type of settings, what can accidentally happen is you can divide the player base if we're talking about matching up with randoms. And maybe it would still work, but I definitely think that this feature could come to private sessions if they do pursue something like this in private sessions. That would make a lot of sense. Sound off if you guys want to see this. I did see some comments from you guys previously that, hey, yeah, this is something that you guys would like to see. All right, so yes, it is my favorite time of the video. Time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So we got this one right here. Yeah, remember, the giveaway is still going on. I'm going to be revealing the winner on the 9th, on the official launch day. And I think I'm going to do the giveaways differently in the future to kind of be more timed with early access. So I did see some of you guys mentioning that. So I did note that. But anyway, it says, I refuse to listen to game critics that praised Concord. Yep, exactly. Man, that game has been an absolute wreck, a disaster on a whole other level. And I also think like the marketing on that game was horrendous. Like I hadn't even heard of Concord until the controversy, you know, which is so strange. And just that the whole thing around that game is just one weird mess. Then we have, the game is not a 40+ hour story game. It's Space Marines, is a great shooter, and going into it expecting a grandiose story with hours upon hours of content, you're going to be disappointed. If I wanted a compelling story, I'll play Baldur's Gate 3 again. If I play this game, I'm expecting to kill space bugs for 90+ hours and not get bored of it. That's what I bought, and that's what I wanted. That's exactly the same sentiment I had when going into this one. I knew that, you know, it's going to be kind of like, I know people hate the comparison, but it is kind of going to be like a Helldivers 2, where you go in, you have that more randomized, you know, feeling of play. And yeah, you have your cool loadouts that you could mess around with and upgrade your character. And that's what I'm still here for. But yeah. And then also what I do like, though, I will say this, I do love the fact that they do at least offer some sort of single player narrative to really cement the locations that you're in cooperative play. The way they handled that is so badass in my opinion, and I love that. All right, next up we have this one right here. Lack of enemy variety. Did people complain about World War Z because it was just zombies? What a load of nonsense. And they plan to expand the enemy types down the road. They've already confirmed that with what they're doing in year 1. So yeah. Now, someone also said this right here. I mostly disagree with April Fool's poster's take, except the part where he mentions Elden Ring's DLC. On a value per dollar scale, ER likely won't ever be comparable to anything except maybe Phantom Liberty. He's also wrong about upcoming content being paid only. There's a season pass that adds extra cosmetic content and a yearly roadmap posted on the Steam page to advertise future content as more PvE operations, new weapons, new PvP maps, and some other stuff. Those are all free updates. And again, I think it's genius how Saber is going about that and handling it. And I think it's going to keep the community together in the long term. So let's see the cosmetics. If you guys buy enough and it allows them to go into like a year 2 plan, that's going to be where they're going to be, kind of judging on how they're going to support the same in year 1. Be like, okay, you know what? They love the cosmetics. We're getting enough support. Let's keep going. I really, really hope that that is actually the case and they don't like abandon this game after year 1 support. But there it is. The latest happenings once again around Space Marine 2. I have you guys covered. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.